welcome to Community Update from the Department of Senior Affairs. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Today's title of the show is Tarde de Oro, and it was the Afternoon of Gold. And we're going to be talking about Tarde de Oro, what it is, the benefits of dance classes, what the show has to offer the seniors at the various senior and multi-generational centers. With us to discuss that is Francis Lujan, who's the creative producer and dance instructor. Francis, also Emily Blea, and Emily is a Department of Senior Affairs member and Tarde de Oro dancer. Emily, and then also Mansell Anderson, who's the technical producer of Tarde de Oro. Welcome to all three.
Thank you. Thank you.
But ladies, if you could start with you, Emily, if you could give us a little bit of background about yourselves and how about how you got involved with Tarde de Oro.
Well, I was 25 years with P&M, so I'm a retiree. And so I was visiting all the senior centers for different classes. And I went to the North Valley Senior Center, and they had, I saw all these ladies with these big dresses. I'm like, oh, I want to wear a big dress. so the next time I came in earlier so that I could ask about, what's up with these ladies in these big dresses. And so that's when I first met Francis at the North Valley Senior Center, and I started there. And it's just a fabulous thing to do. And we have classes Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And then we dance, we perform all over Albuquerque. So it's been fabulous for me.
Great. Francis, you want to give us a brief history about I know you're a retired city employee as well. You've been retired, I believe, about 5 years?
3 now.
3, okay.
3
I guess
now.
3 can turn into 5, I guess. I don't know. But can you give us a brief history about the Tarde de Oro program? You actually practiced that when I was the manager at North Valley Senior Center.
Right. Tarde de Oro is an afternoon of gold. That would be the translation. But it's history. It's a history of New Mexico using music and dance to take the audience through our different eras, historical eras. But it has a senior citizen focus. So this is how the Department of Senior Affairs is involved, okay, or how they became involved, is that after Mansell and I produced Noche de Oro, then there was an idea of doing a Mañana de Oro for students and doing a Tarde de Oro with a senior citizen focus. And that's how the department became involved. We approached the department and asked, what do you think of this idea? And training dancers to perform in this particular show, in the Tarde de Oro show. And like I said, it's a history of New Mexico. Portrays our uniqueness via music and dance. We start with the Native American era, we go into the Spanish era, then we go into the Mexican/territorial era, where the Western influence comes in, and then we end with contemporary. So where we are today. So if you will, the audience, then if they're native New Mexicans, hopefully they're going to leave there being thoroughly entertained and maybe even learn something about our history, because so often, we take our backgrounds for granted. And if someone in our audience is not familiar with our history, hopefully they'll be able to leave and not only having been entertained at the show, but know what New Mexico is all about.
Yeah,
Something about our show.
I had a chance to see that show, and I think, as you mentioned, it's history through dance, which is kind of unusual, but unique and very special. Very special. I'm of Mexican descent, Mexican Americans. A lot of those songs, really reminded me of my father, my mother, my culture, or our culture, I should say. Mansell, can you talk a little bit about your brief history or what your involvement is, and we'll get to some more questions in a minute about Tarde de Oro.
Well, Francis and I met several years ago, quite a few years ago now, working in Old Town on the Old Town New Fund program, and we really liked each other and appreciated the other's vision, and we started working together on the Noche de Oro program, which was a larger contemporary show. Again, it was a musical tour through New Mexico history. And then, like Francis said, started working on the Tarde de Oro. And one thing that I really like about all the programs is the element of storytelling. That's what connects everything together. You know, our present is so connected to our past, and without understanding our past, we have no future. And bringing in the Tarde de Oro element, what I'm really interested in is what our current golden citizens or senior citizens or people that are headed that direction, people that are retirees or going to be retirees, what they remember from, like you said, like your parents and your grandparents. And then also, what are you folks, you know, that are a part of this program, what are we going to be telling our children and our grandchildren about our histories? So that's one place that Francis and I really connected, is, you know, we're grounded in our history. We have nothing if we don't understand it.
Well, that's truer words were never spoken there. And Emily Blea, you know, you're actually dressed in the dance garb that you performed in with the performance. And what motivated you to get involved in Francis' dance class and perform in the show? I know you and I have had a chance to talk. Seems like we've known each other for a long time, but you know, you're retired 7 years ago. And what motivated you? Because you know you have so many things going on in your life. What motivated you for this?
I think what motivated me is when I was growing up, my cousin was a Spanish dancer or Mexican dancer. And we used to go to Old Town and we used to go watch her. And I, you know, since I was like 9, and I thought, wow, to be on stage and dance, can you imagine, you know? But at the time, my family didn't have any kind of funding for that whatsoever. And so it was never a possibility for me. And so as I worked through P&M and then after retired, you just really contemplate on what did you always want to do but you didn't get to do. And so, you know, when I saw those big dresses, boom, I was in. I was sold. I'm like, I am in this thing, and I'm going to be at every practice. I'm going to practice at home. I'm going to practice all the time. And I like it because I really don't like going to the gym, but I do know that I need to work out and be active. And so this gives me the opportunity to do exercise, but it doesn't feel like exercise. It doesn't even feel like aerobics, because aerobics too, you know, 1, 2, you know, same thing. This, you're always thinking. You're thinking, what is my next move? You know, what is the right step? Am I going left? Am I going right? Your mind is so occupied while you're dancing that you just are able to forget every problem, everything that's going on presently, in the future, what's coming up. You can forget all of that because now you're dancing.
But
and it's just very exciting.
You know, I think just you mentioning that again, you know, we're trying to get seniors more involved in dance classes or movement, exercise, things like that. And gosh, you know, just watching the steps, it's a lot to it. Francis, I watched you quite a bit when you were in North Valley, you know that. And there's quite a bit to this. And, you know, one of the questions we have for you is you've been teaching classes to members at the city senior centers. What do you feel are some of the benefits to the seniors who have performed? What are the benefits to those seniors who participated in your class, but not everybody performed at Tarde de Oro? So what are the benefits there of dance? And Emily, I thought, talked about them, you know, at length.
First of all, in dance, and I guess this is true of a lot of other activities, but specifically here we're mentioning dance, there are 8 concepts that you simultaneously, are dealing with when you dance. 8 simultaneously. So there is the, what you're mentally, you're exercising, physically you're exercising. It hits the cultural nail on the head. It hits a social nail on the head. It hits a number of nails on the head. Psychologically, and emotionally, it's the well-being, a sense of well-being and presentation. I think it motivates people who want to watch, even those who participate but maybe don't want to perform, take it to that level, but at least they can say this is what they're doing. This is it gives them a schedule. It gives them a purpose. It gives them a purpose. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. Not only just, but I think also the participants enjoy it. It's not just for the spectators, it's also for those who participate, Self-esteem. I mean, how many seniors can say, I perform? At this point, in our life. They didn't say that, you know, and I get asked all the time, well, when are you going to retire, friend, from dance, you know? And I said, well, I guess when I missing a body part, I don't know. I don't even think about it.
Right.
You know, I mean, quite honestly, I don't. Or if there's gonna, you know, if I reach a point where when I turn, my body doesn't all turn at the same time, okay, then I think it's time, okay, to maybe hang it up.
I don't think that would stop you. No,
But I
don't
mean,
think
I've
so.
taught dance with a cast. You know, I've shattered both feet. I've had injuries, and I've still taught. And I would teach with my hands up on the mirror, using my hands as my feet to demonstrate.
Wow.
So I've always figured out a way to do it. I mean, I began dancing at 3, and so that kind of tells you how long I've been, you know, and I
Right.
started teaching at 9. And then with my education being what it is, I have experience in teaching special needs, children with special needs. Whether they're confined to a wheelchair or whether they're hearing impaired or vision impaired. I've taught them, and they've performed. They've
Right,
performed. So it kind of transcends,
So,
you know, all the way through.
So many great things that you mentioned about dance and how it benefits you and benefits other people. And Emily, I thought you touched on all the great things too. Mansell, what were some of the challenges of producing a show like Tarde de Oro? What was some of the challenges? I'm sure there was some.
Well, you know, it's a large production and requires a really wide array of talent. We've worked with, you know, Shelley Morningsong and Fabian Fontanelle, you know, acclaimed native musicians and dancers, and finding the Trio Romantico and the mariachi and great MCs to work with. And, you know, one of the greatest challenges, you can find a lot of great talent. Once you find the talent, are they on the same page that you're on? And are they really willing to invest for really not very much money? We're asking world-class talent to work on a dime. We have people that are Grammy and NAMI nominated artists. We have
Wow.
people that travel all over the world. A couple of years ago, we worked with R.W. Hampton, who is an internationally acclaimed songwriter. And those are just really to name a few. So what we're doing is we're on a mission. And very often when you're on a mission, you just plow forward and you hope that things fall into place, and you beg favors, and you appeal to people's better nature to invest in something that they believe in. That's one of the huge challenges. And then beyond that, you have the technical challenges. You know, working with lighting and sound and finding the funding to even do that is really, really tough. You know, most people know that these productions are beautiful and magical and they enjoy the experience. What a lot of people who don't know, who are not in the industry, they don't know that none of this is magic. And it requires a huge amount of funding. Very rarely does a show like this, at least until it's existed for, you know, a decade or two, very rarely do these programs pay for themselves on ticket sales. It just doesn't happen, whether you're talking about an orchestra or you're talking about a ballet. If you're talking about an ambitious cultural program like this, the ticket sales, they help a little bit. But what it requires are individuals, companies, governmental institutions to invest in a program like this to make it happen. And that's
Yeah.
the challenge.
You know, I guess when you mentioned that you worked with Emmy nominated, Grammy nominated, this is a big production. You know, I just saw, you know, the one that you did at the Cultural Center. This is big, gosh. You know, and I know, you know, that's a great explanation of what you had to do to get a production like this going. Emily, how does your family and friends view you now that you become a performer now? Your husband, Gary Blea, works for our department in home chores, but how does your family and friends view you now that, you know, again, this, you mentioned so many things that you're doing to me last 2 times we talked in your retired life, and this is just one more. So how do they view you now that, you know, you're performing with Tarde de Oro and you're doing these things? How do they view you?
Well, you know, they don't miss a show. If we're going to be at Old Town Fiestas, they're there. If we're going to be at Nativity Church Fiestas, they're there. If we're going to be, you know, wherever we're performing, they always all go, even though they've seen this dance before or whatever. It's always new to them. It's never, you know, oh, you did that same dance. I saw that one before. It's always new to them. To them, it's like we do a whole new show. a whole new dance. Everything appears to be new to them. And so they really, really love going. And they tell their neighbors about it and friends about it, and they want other people to come and enjoy what it is that we're doing.
So I think that's important too. It's not just, not senior affairs that you just do this at. You do it in Old Town.
We do it all over.
You do it.
They perform all over.
Right.
Los
So
Bailadores, the name of the dance group, the senior dance group, they have their own name, is Los Bailadores de Oro. And they perform at the Tarde de Oro production and other places. So their name is Los Bailadores de Oro. They've just got scheduled to perform at the State Fair in September on the 16th. And they'll be presented second year in a row. So this will be the second time.
Okay,
They'll be performing. They'll be at the Old Town Fiestas on the 6th, on Saturday, June 6th, and then the calendar just keeps going. So the name is
Year
out
round?
there. Yeah, they dance year round.
Wow.
They dance year round. They perform year round.
That must have kept you busy as far as your
it's-
cardio and whatever else you think you're not getting at the gym. You're getting it here, right?
It is. It is. Plus, since I've been retired, I do other things. I volunteer quite a bit. I take painting lessons every Wednesday. I do my dance lessons Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm in the Rotary Club on Tuesdays at lunch. I'm in the Sandia Rotary Club. And so I stay really busy. But I only do fun stuff that I want to do. And
That's what you told me Retired Life's
yeah.
about. So,
once I'm committed, I am committed. I am there.
Mansell, I wanted to ask you, how did your partnership with Francis begin?
Well, like I said earlier, we met in Old Town, and Francis was doing, I was doing Wild Card Wednesday, and Francis was doing
Cultural Sunsets.
Cultural Sunsets on Thursday, and then I was also running sound and doing this and doing that. And we really clicked. And one thing I liked about Francis was when she would book her portion, and I was running sound and emceeing or whatever else might need to be done that day. You know how it works sometimes is if you're the sound engineer or the MC, you're also picking up garbage and
Setting up
putting
chairs,
and all that. So we were working on all these programs. One thing I really loved about Francis, and we talked more about, is that she would book such a wide array, such a wildly varied kind of cultural program. Everything from retired Broadway dancers to
Vietnamese dancers,
yeah,
Korean. It didn't matter.
and that really got a conversation going about what culture, New Mexican culture means to us.
Right.
And then we've been working together really just ever since. And what we do is basically we're working with Francis's artistic vision, and then I try to help make sure that it comes to fruition in some kind of way.
He does more than try. He knows how to make it happen. I can't do it without he's got all the technical know-how, and he has vision. He can see it. We can speak the same language.
Well, it sounds like a great
Speak the same
collaboration.
language.
Just listening to both
And
of you
it just-
talk.
yeah,
Sounds like a great
it
partnership.
complements.
Oh yeah.
That's
You have to
great.
have that, I'm sure.
You have to.
Because I'm sure there's
Have to.
disagreements that come up and
You have to
creative
have-
differences, if you will.
To have-
And you have, and that's the thing too, is that everything that we do is based on relationships, and you have to be able to disagree, and you have to even want to disagree, and then come out on the other end of it with a better idea. And I think that kind of goes to what we were talking about before, is relationships, between our own parents and our children and our histories and all of that. It's a matter of understanding. It's a matter of understanding that we're going to the same place. And I'm in a fortunate place right now. Comfortably middle age, maybe uncomfortably so, but the idea is that we can have friends and colleagues that are sometimes twice our age and sometimes half of our age. And that's one thing I loved about the Cultural Sunsets program. That's one thing I love about the De Oro productions overall is that our senior citizens, or our golden citizens, and our mañana, our young people, or our future, we're really a part of the same thing. And that's my whole goal. It's about the stories, it's about connecting our past with our future, and sometimes we will disagree about how to do that. And that's a very often our children will disagree with us in the same way that we disagree with our parents. And what we have as a result of those disagreements is our heritage.
Interesting. I probably tend to agree with that. That's a great way to explain it, Mansell. Francis, what is your vision for the future of this program? What's your vision?
That it continues. In fact, we will, we start brainstorming during this year's show. I mean, have some ideas for the next one. And in fact, while we were sitting out there in the lobby waiting to be called in, we were talking about next year's show. We'll be meeting next Tuesday to talk about next year's show. And hopefully we'll be able to, have the Mañana de Oro for students, okay? And then have a Tarde de Oro with a senior focus. And do more, maybe even have a Noche de Oro great big production where we're not restricted to, well, it has to only be an hour, it only has to be an hour, and something, ticket sales on that one.
Right.
But anyway, these are ideas, nothing etched in stone yet, they're all ideas. And then at the creative end, we have an idea of who we want to include and invite to be in our shows next year, and how we envision that happening. And who's going to be invited to participate and begin working on it since the summer.
Yeah, I got a question,
summer.
just a real quick question about Mañana de Oro. Can you kind of explain about that concept? I mean, it's just an idea,
It's a
can you talk about
student
that?
focused show, and this we've done it now 3 years. It was 3 years, and Tarde is usually on a Wednesday, Thursday, or on a Thursday afternoon. Mañana's the last 3 years has been on a Friday morning, 10 o'clock, open to school-age children, to all school-age children. Okay, and that's for the last 3 years, and that's the Mañana de Oro, put on by De Oro Productions, which is Mansell and I. Okay,
Right.
and we do the Mañana, which is a student-focused show, the Tarde being a senior-focused show, and we have in the past done a Noche de Oro, which is we bring entertainers in from out of state for that one.
Wow.
That's a big biggie.
Yeah, the overarching idea really is, and I wasn't concise about this before, is if people are entertained and they walk out learning something, whether they know they learned something or not. It's a big, beautiful thing. It's a sensory experience, and it's something that Francis has said before that I really love, is that if you have no sight, there's something beautiful to hear. If you have no hearing, there's something beautiful to see.
Interesting.
And one way or another, you're not being hit over the head with a hammer, but you're going to walk out knowing something new.
We really want our
Good way to put
audience
it. It's a good way to put it.
experience the program, the production. They not leave there just having been entertained. We can do that watching TV. I mean, really, okay? No, that when they leave there, they've experienced a production.
Whatever production it is,
And you know-
Mañana, Tarde, whatever.
And we really want to see it expand. We've started here in Albuquerque, and we know these things take time, but we would love to see it in different counties in New Mexico. We would love to see it possibly even expand to different areas of the Southwest where it's particularly important that we stay connected to this part of our history. I'm originally from Texas, but this history I'm intimately connected with. My people are intimately connected with New Mexican history, and I started visiting here as a small boy, and I'm enchanted, entrapped.
Well, what do they call New Mexico, the land of entrapment? Don't they call it that? And for a lot of reasons it is. Emily, what expectations did you have when you first began taking lessons from Francis? What expectations did you have?
I didn't think I'd be performing on stage for like a year or two. And Francis had me up on that stage in 2 months. I was performing at the big show at the National Hispanic Center. And so, she has a way of teaching that just brings you along, and that you really are excited about and buy into. And for me, I feel like I'm going to dance forever. I don't think I'm ever going to not dance now that I finally started. I'm never going to not dance. I do know that.
So
I'll be dancing all the way till I can't dance anymore.
it must be. Yeah, I guess the other question I want to ask you, Francis, is all these productions. You know, I mean, you mentioned Mañana, Tarde, Noche. How many dancers are we, talking about? I only saw Tarde. So for these productions, are there new dancers in
Varies.
productions? It varies. So
Varies.
total dancers, I mean, that you're working with could vary from.
Could vary from 6 to a lot more than that. Add a 0 to the end. I don't know. Teaching at 3 centers right now in terms of senior centers. And so it's open to their membership. It's open to their membership. The only thing I do ask is that they attend regularly. Okay,
that's
can't learn
important,
if
yeah.
you're not there. Okay. Now, if they're going to do it recreationally, that's fine. But if the intent is to perform, then we have to raise the bar in terms of commitment. Okay? If it's recreational, they want to show up once a month, that's fine. That's fine. Then we understand it's recreational. But if that particular member intends to perform, they need to be more committed to the actual class and practicing on their own. And then they each receive their music and listening to their music. So they're familiar with the music. So regular attendance, okay, is really mandatory.
Now you can see why.
Absolutely,
if you're going to perform
and that's not a foreign concept to any of us. You have to attend if you're going to reap any benefits. You have to be there,
Right.
Not just dance. You got to show up for life. Okay, if you're going to, you have to show up.
So we would love to see more and more seniors involved in this. And and again, I think you said it, but just to stress is don't worry if you don't want to perform. You just want to be a part of it. Sign up anyway. And some people have waited their entire lives and never had a chance to be on a stage.
Right, no, that's true.
And then some people just want to dance and they don't want to go near the stage, and that's great too. Just to share something, I'm an awful tennis player. I'm awful, but I haven't done it in a while, but I really love it. I don't think I'd ever do it in front of somebody else.
Okay.
So if people have that kind of relationship with dance or with music, there's room for everyone to learn and have a good time and not to be intimidated. And then if they want to, they have the opportunity to perform on one of the best stages around.
I think that's important too, and that you mentioned that not everybody is going to want to perform. There might be people that come to your dance practices and are shy, and like
That's
Mansell
right.
said, he doesn't want to play tennis in front of
That's
people,
right.
and so there's levels. There's different levels.
Or they
That way
have physical limitations.
But forgot about that.
They have
Right.
physical limitations. They're not, can use their feet, but maybe limited use of their arms or vice versa. Whatever. That's fine. You can still work with that.
That's
okay?
important to know
Yeah,
as well.
it's still work with that. They don't have to pass a physical to dance, okay? We still work with that. It's about being there.
Got about 2 minutes left. I want to get to these last couple questions. Emily, have your expectations been met as far as what you expected when you started, dancing with Francis Group? Have your expectations been met?
Oh, they have. Not only have they been met, they have exceeded anything I ever thought I would be able to do or could do at all. I'm so excited to perform. I'm so excited to go to class, listen to my music at home, really get all that information down in my head, get it straight. So I would say that my expectations have been far exceeded with Frances. She is an excellent teacher. She's really fabulous.
Well, that's a great testimony. One question left, and I'll leave it to both Mansell and Francis. What are some of the upcoming performances that the seniors will be participating in? And after that, Francis, last word.
Upcoming performances, let's see, the next one is Old Town Fiestas on June 6th, Saturday, June 6th at 1:30. And they'll be performing with, it's going to be a multi-generational performance. They're going to be performing with my other dancers, Los Tapatíos, and a couple of members from Ballet en Fuego, my professional company. So it's going to be multi-generational, our presentation. Have something for everyone, okay? All ages will be out there. And And then after that, let's see, I'm trying to think of the rest of the calendar. Well, I do know the State Fair is coming up in September because I just signed that agreement yesterday, okay, so, and returned that. But through the summer, it's going to be some fiestas, and we also have some assisted living facilities where we'll be performing.
One last word, anything else you want to let anybody know about Tarde de Oro, anything else?
Keep it on the, you know, the front of the brain, okay? Tarde de Oro Productions will be around for a long time.
One more thing I'd like to add to that
Sure.
is for anyone that's interested in this program, please inquire at your local community center or your senior center. And if we're not teaching there, we will be soon.
Thank you very much. Tarde de Oro, Francis Lujan, creative producer and dance instructor, Mansell Anderson, technical producer, Emily Blea, Department of Senior Affairs member, and Tarde de Oro dancer. Thanks so much for being our guest.
Thank you for having
We
us.
sure appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you
you
so much.
You bet.
Thank you.
For the Department of Senior Affairs, I'm Ed Nunez.